You
I didn't hear anything.
good. I don't feel so bad now.
Absolutely not.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and
Shabbat
good
Shalom.
Shabbos.
Wow.
For some reason that's not catching me quite right. Oh, there it is. Okay. Beautiful day today. I mean, it looked like it was going to rain all day. The clouds were out, but there were little spots of blue all day, and the sun was out. And it was unseasonably warm for the third day of winter. So for those of you who don't like to summer, so you will be fine. I promise you. But it was in the 50s today, so it was nice. I took a couple of walks and did all of that. So here we are. It's Erev Shabbat. It's a beautiful evening out there. And so who's going to light candles? I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to throw it up. I mean, apparently nobody wants to light candles, so we'll do away with it. We'll hide the candles from now on. No, can't do that.
We've been taking turns. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you. All right, as we begin welcoming Shabbat, let's have a reading. Page 6. Page 6 will have a responsive reading. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May the synagogue be for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
All right, let's continue working our way towards Shabbat. Page 20, Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad, Yishmi'anu el ha'miuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela, Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor ha'bracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela, Mikdash melech yemelucha, Kumitzei mitochafecha, Ravlach shevet v'yemecha b'cha, V'hu yachamol alaychem la, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela, Itna ari mi'afar kumi, Lifshi b'dei tifartei mi, Al yad v'nishai beit halachmi, Korva el nafshi gehala, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela, Hitorri, Ki ba'orei kumi uri, uri, shir daveri. Kevod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Lo tevoshi velo tikomi, matish tochachi umatehemi, v'chyechesu anieh ami, v'nihi metayir al tila, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. V'hayu l'shimsa shohosayich, v'rachaku kol mevalayich, yasis alayich Elohayich, ki himsos chatan al kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela, yamin u'smol tifrotzi, Et Adonai taharitzi, al yadish ben parzi, v'nismecha v'nagila, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela, boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. All right, we'll turn the page to page 22 for verses from Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat. And we'll read the outdented paragraph together in English, and then we'll sing Tzadik Katamar after. A song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai! How very subtle your designs! A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzadik yifrach, Erez balvanon, yihiske shetuli, b'beit Adonai, b'chatzrot Eloheinu, yafrichu. O Jinuvun b'seiba, b'shemim v'rahananim, yihiyu lehagid, ki ashar Adonai tzuri. Velo ablakavos. Off page 24, we continue our entrance into Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashari, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Seitchem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. And we'll conclude Kabbalat Shabbat on page 294, Mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash shmei rabba, v'yalmad v'yivrach yiruteh, v'yamlik malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayeh v'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabba m'vorach l'olam l'omei maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromah v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalel v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah b'richu, le'elam in kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, v'amiram v'elma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'bromav, u'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. We're going to begin the evening service, Arvit l'Shabbat. The evening service, page 146, will begin with Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamelech.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Let's read together the English on 147. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you, and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. Top of page 148, the second blessing, the second bracha before Shema. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachmeinu u'kumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu v'yorech yameinu v'yorech yameinu uvahem nehege yomam v'layla yomam v'layla ve'ahava techal tasim mimenu li'olamim baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levacha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha, v'hayu advarim ha'ela asher Elohim mitzavecha hayom al vavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha b'derech ובשופטיך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Page 151. In the English, let's read responsively. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness lives our grasp, is perfection and evil bound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned that God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
Top of 152. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nohora tehilo osefele, malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe, Zehli anu v'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, u'ga'alo mi'ad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Ashkivenu, the final blessing after the Shema. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shoreinu l'chaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shoreinu l'chaim. Let's read together in English. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, Aporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Amo Yisrael, V'al Yerushalayim. Top of 154, verses from the book of Exodus, reminding us about Shabbat. V'shamru. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, B'nai Yisrael, oti li'olam, v'shamru b'nai Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית העולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. We are at the Amidah, the Tefillah, the center of the evening service, the central prayer of the evening service. We're going to begin on 155 and chant 155, 156, 157 together. And then we're going to go silent, so you can finish the Amidah either in the Hebrew, the English, or you can offer up your own meditative prayer at this time. But we'll begin together on 155. Adonai sifatai tiftach u'yagi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach u'yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Goel Ibnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Moshia Umagin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Metim Atara L'Hoshia, Mashif HaRuach, Umorid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekaye Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Val Gevurot, Ubidol Melach, Melech Mimit Omechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman atah l'chayot meitim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh ha'meitim. So completing your Amidah, please continue at your own pace. We are on page 160. Let's read the paragraph together in the middle of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfills its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Turn the page to 162, 163, a little bit of hoda'ah, a little bit of gratitude. Hoda'ah comes to us from the word for thankful, todah, right? No, todah. And hoda'ah is the same root, same family, and it means thankfulness, but thankfulness comes out of hakarat hatov, well, recognizing the good. And so, like I say all the time, it doesn't have to be a big ticket item, right? You graduate from medical school, your son graduates medical school, your daughter graduates from medical. It doesn't have to be that big. It could simply be, it was a beautiful day and you got out to enjoy it. You saw, the other day I was walking and I saw in front of one of the buildings, purple cabbages, which is a sign of winter, obviously, because they grow in the winter, but the purple was so vibrant. And so, yeah, that kind of put a smile on my face. So anything that causes you to smile, anything that you recognize, you can be thankful for. And on page 163 at the top, let's read responsibly. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we will praise.
For the desire in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being.
All right, we'll close out the Amidah with Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon Lechol HaShalom, Ki atahu melech Adon, Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Praise are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamiborech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. And jump ahead to page 253 for the Mishaberach. Misheberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha La'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. All right, we're going to go ahead, page 258 and 259, prayers for our community. And Mari, would you give us the prayer for our congregation on the top of page 258?
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levacha b'yirah na'avod. Suzanne, prayer for our country.
Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness.
Thank you. Sha'alu shalom Yerushalayim, yishlayu ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shabashamayim, Sur Yisrael Hagalolo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Smichat Geulatenu, Hagein Aleha B'Yevrat Chasdecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha V'Amitecha, L'Rosheha Soreha V'Yowetzeha, V'Tatneim Be'etza Tova Milfanecha, V'Natata Shalom Ba'aretz, V'Simchat Olam V'Yoshveha, V'Nomar Amen. Sandy, would you do the English, please?
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fulfill the fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Shalom.
This week, we begin a brand new book of the Torah. If you were here, you would smell that new book of the Torah smell. It's like a new car smell, but it smells like parchment and goat. It is called Shemot, and it literally means names. And what they are is the opening verses give us the book, not the book's title, but the names of Jacob's sons who were down in Egypt. In the years that have passed since Jacob died, now Joseph has died and all the brothers have died, and Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel, become a large group, a very large group. Their population increases by leaps and bounds, And this is problematic for the new Pharaoh who comes to power. And it's said that a new Pharaoh arises who didn't know Joseph, right? So all the work that Joseph had done to protect his family, to set them up in the land of Goshen, to get them out of the way of the Egyptians who were not fond of herders, of shepherds. And so what he decides is, well, and he starts to get worried because Bnei Israel is not large enough to overthrow Pharaoh, but they are large enough that if they joined one of Pharaoh's enemies, that they would be able to overthrow Pharaoh. So he decides to enslave them, and he orders his taskmasters to enslave the people and to drown all of male children under the age of 2. Right? So one of the ways of keeping a population down is to get rid of all of the men. The understanding was that the women were going to be more docile, but in this story, the women aren't so docile. The midwives refuse to throw the babies into the Nile. So one woman, she defies the order. She says, I'm not going to do it. She places her son in a basket. Now it's interesting, it's always called the basket, Moshe in the basket, but it's a teva. The word is teva actually, and it means ark, right? So there's a parallel to the Noah story going on here that we read way back in Genesis now. And again, the ark floats on the water, and at the end, there's redemption, right? Moshe, well, he's not yet named Moshe, he's a Jewish baby boy number 1. And he floats down the river, and he is discovered by Pharaoh's daughter. She finds the basket, and history is changed because she adopts this little boy, and she names him Moshe. Everybody thinks Moshe is a Hebrew name, but it's actually an Egyptian name. But that's okay. That's okay. Moshe grows up, and so we don't know much from when he's taken out of the teva, when he's taken out of the ark, and this next piece of his life where he grows and he sees an Egyptian beating an Israelite, and he kills the Egyptian. He in a fit of rage. And when Pharaoh finds out about this, he orders that whenever they find Moshe, they're going to kill him. Right? He's overstepped his bounds. He's in trouble. So he flees to Midian, an interesting little place where he meets Yitro, who is a local Midianite priest who also happens to have apparently a very attractive daughter named Zipporah, and she catches Moshe's eye, and but that's a little bit later. But while he's tending flocks, God speaks to him out of a burning bush. Right? Moshe's out there minding his own business, and the bush starts talking to him. All right, now you all know this. This is the Charlton Heston movie, The 10 Commandments, right? The burning bush and all of that. But he promises that Aaron, Moshe's brother, will help him to liberate the Israelites. So Moshe returns to Egypt after some discussion, and he confronts Pharaoh and demands that the Israelites be freed. Pharaoh declines this offer, and he orders more hard labor on the Israelites. The people blame Moshe and complain about him. Moshe goes to God and complains to God about what had happened. And God says, well, yeah, don't worry. Wait till you see what I'm going to do to Pharaoh. And it kind of ends there. It's a cliffhanger, right? The first parsha of the book of Shemot is a cliffhanger because we're waiting to see what God's going to do to Pharaoh. Send him to bed without any dessert. I don't know. I do know. We all know. It's the 10 plagues that are coming up. But this is the setup, right? So this is all, the first parsha is introducing us to Moshe, just like the book of Genesis got us into Egypt. And now we have the person who's going to take us out of Egypt. And that's going to be the rest of the Torah, basically, is what happens after that. So this is your parsha in a nutshell. All right, friends, it is not only Shabbat, but if you grew up around people of Eastern Europe, from Eastern Europe, or if you grew up around any Hasidim or ultra-Orthodox people, tonight is Nittelnacht, right? A lot of times, people say, Christmas isn't a time that Jews traditionally embrace wholeheartedly. But we do have our own kinds of rituals, right? I know that lots of Jews go out for Chinese food on Christmas. Matter of fact, the Chinese even have a blessing for us because we apparently pay most of their year's bills just on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Or people go to the movies, right? People go to the movies on that. But believe it or not, there is actually, I hesitate to call them religious rituals, but there are rituals that revolve around Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in Judaism. Beginning around the 18th century in Europe, Jews began to acknowledge this, but they had been doing it for a while before, this idea called Nittelnacht. And this is the name they give to Christmas Eve, Nittelnacht. And the etymology of Nittel is, it's hard to figure out because some say it comes out of the Latin natalis, which gives us nativity, which gives us all those N words in Latin that deal with Christmas. Some people say it comes from the Hebrew word nitler, which means the hanged one, which was a medieval name that the Jews used for Jesus when they were referring to him in conversation, right? They wouldn't call him by his name. They wouldn't call him anything. They would say the nitler, right? The one that was hanged. A bit of history in the Middle Ages, especially in the Christian world, Jews were often forbidden from appearing in public during the Christmas holidays. And this was probably due to the fact that the Christians were angry that we were still around, that the Jews did not follow actually Paul, who really invented Christianity. But we decided that we weren't going to follow and we were going to stay Jews. And so they didn't want to see us. And we didn't want to be seen because if we were seen out on the streets, it might seem like we were celebrating as well. And so we did stay indoors. And the other reason basically was that on Christmas Eve, along with Easter Eve, these were times which marked the beginning of attacks and a renewed anti-Semitism in these Christian communities. So we just kind of kept our heads low. So what they did is they started to observe Nittel as a way to avoid going out, also to avoid the appearance of celebrating the holiday. Now, here's the thing. Nittelnacht is enclosed, encased, covered by mysticism, right? And there's all sorts of stories about what exactly happens. And one of the stories is that the Nazarene comes, his spirit wanders the earth on Christmas Eve as a punishment, right? Because according to our story, he gets punished for what he did. Although he really didn't do anything, it was Paul, but that's a whole other story. But he has to walk the earth. And so Nittelnacht and Nittel are two times where Torah study is actually forbidden, right? You can't study Torah on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And the rabbis say that's because whenever you study Torah, the souls that are getting purified, they get a break. If they're getting punished, if they're being punished during that period after they die and before they get to Olam Haba, Torah study kind of alleviates their suffering. So the Jews said, we are so not going to alleviate this guy's suffering. We are going to do the opposite. We are going to play cards. We are going to play chess. We are going to spin the dreidel. We're going to read secular books. We're going to sew, right? The Lubavitcher Rebbe, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, would sew on Nittelnacht and Nittel. We're going to sing, right? If you go to some of these very, very traditional yeshivot, maybe Lakewood in New Jersey, definitely in places like B'nai Brak and Mea Sharim in Israel, you'll hear them playing the radio, which they don't do at all during the rest of the year, or they shouldn't, right? You know, teenagers. But this is the time when you just kind of cut loose, right? It's one and a half day, maybe it's just one day, basically, from sundown to sundown. But you just play games, right? You take your mind off of Torah study. And in some communities, I chuckle because I know people who do this. You're not allowed to tear on Shabbat, right? To tear, even if something's perforated. So it makes using toilet paper difficult if you are an observant Jew and there is no pre-torn toilet paper, right? And so what really Orthodox people do on Nittel Nacht and Nittel is tear toilet paper for the entire year of Shabbos, right? So that's how they spend their time, right? Any other time of year, you wouldn't do that because you'd be busy studying Torah, except on Nittel Nacht and Nittel. By the mid-1900s in America, Nittel Nacht pretty much falls to the wayside because Jewish-Christian relations had matured, right? We've been living here for a while. It's after the Shoah, and Jews and Christians are basically getting along in this country. But it's still alive in some Hasidic circles and ultra-Orthodox circles, but they don't talk about it because it's not that they're ashamed of it, it's just that they don't want to start any fights among the Christian neighbors. So they just kind of, party on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but they don't really talk about it at all. The other thing is that some Hasidic groups observe it twice because there is the Gregorian date for Christmas and the Julian date for Christmas. And so, because there was a calendar change in the Middle Ages, so some Hasidic groups celebrate Nittel Nacht for the Orthodox Christmas and for the regular Christmas. So play chess tonight and tomorrow, play cards, sing, dance. I wouldn't sew because that's a violation of Shabbos. But next year, when Christmas Eve and Christmas Day are not on Shabbos, sew a little bit. Put some patches on your jeans or on your book bags, and that'll be it. So I want to wish you all a merry Nittel Nacht, and to all a good night, and a Shabbat Shalom, and a good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, we're going to start closing out on page 2. Oh no, not yet. It's Kiddush.
Yeah.
Kiddush. I should have known Maury was getting up. He wasn't running away. He was going to get his chess set, but no. You play chess, Maury?
Yes.
It's
It's been a while.
Well, tonight's the night to practice. We're going to we have a little bit of Kiddush. Vayhi erev vayhi boker yom hashishi vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz b'chol tzivam vayachal Elohim vayom hashvi melachto asher asa vayishbok vayom hashvi mikol melachto asher asa vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi vayikadesh oto Ki bo Shabbat mikol malachto asher bara Elohim la'asod. Sabri, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu. V'Shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon inchilanu zikaro lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziyat mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta V'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava u'ratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. And now, page 282, Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam kalkeinu kahem, v'kor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, Mishpachavim umodim, Lifnei melech, Malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu notei shamayim v'yoser haaretz, Umoshav yikaro b'shamayim v'mahal, Ushlinatu zo, v'govheim meromim. Eloheinu Einod, Emet Malkeinu Efesu Lato, Hakatu V'Torato, V'Yadata Hayom V'Hashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, V'Shamayim V'Mahal, V'Aretz Miktateho. Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'nehar v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad. We continue Shloshim for Eric Pyburn and Bob Levy. This week we observed the following yard sites: Max Schoenfeld, brother-in-law of Walter Lewis Sr., Mary Cantor, Jerome's wife, Rena Stern's mother, Joanne Glick Levy, David's sister, Billy's cousin, Shirley Bro Davis, mother of Charles, Tony, and Sarah Lynn, Jack Gottlieb, Gail's husband, father of Linda, Jody, and Lori, Ira Herman, Claire's husband and father of 4, Sylvia Wagner Jupiter, mother of Ellen Hernandez, Arlene Sidney Murphy, relative of Jack Hyman, Mortimer Frollo, Susan Miller's father, Saul Keene, Leonard Keene's father, David Schreiber, father of Barbara Gross. May their souls be bound up in bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us always, and may they all rest in peace. Mourner's Cottage, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yeruteh v'yamlit malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei v'chol Beit Yisrael, v'hagalav v'zman karim v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah v'barach v'lam l'mel maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yithalal, shmei, d'kusha, brichu, le'lam, in kol, birchata, v'shirata, tushbachata, v'nechamata, v'amiram, v'yalma, v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlama, rabba, min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. All right, friends, just a couple of quick announcements. First, I want to say happy birthday to James Morris Smith. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday, James. And David Glick has a birthday, not today or tomorrow, but the 27th. So happy birthday to James today, and not a belated birthday, what do we call it? An early birthday greeting for David. Let's see, services tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and then again at 9 a.m. on Sunday. No adult ed on Sunday afternoon. We're taking a bit of a break, but we'll be back in January. Monday night, you don't want to miss this. This is our deep dive into Genesis. And we've just got to the part where Cain has killed Abel. And we're trying to figure out what exactly went on, because the Bible is kind of quiet on all the circumstances. However, because I like my class and I don't mind doing extra work for them, went and found lots of comments about what the tradition seems to think happened. So tune in for that on Monday. Wednesday is Yiddish choir, and then we're back on Friday. And instead of it being Nittelnacht, it's New Year's Eve. And so you can study Torah on New Year's Eve. No worries there. But that's it. It's kind of a quiet week, but that's okay. You know, we had Hanukkah, so we're kind of just getting over the latkes and the donuts, if you know what I mean. So that's it. So we'll close out with Adon Olam, 321. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa B'chefzo kol Azai Melech Shemo Nivra V'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Imloch Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh V'hu Yiyeh V'tifara V'hu Echad V'ein Sheni Laham Shelo Lahakbira V'li Reshit V'li Tachlit V'lo Ha'oz V'hamishra V'hu Eli V'chai Goali V'tzur Hedli V'yeh Tzahara V'hu Nisi Umanosli Minat Kohosi B'yom Ekra B'yahado Akid Ruchi B'eti Shan B'yahira V'imruchi Geviyati Adonai Li V'lo Ira. All right, before we head off into the Shabbat evening, let's see who says hello to us through the interwebs. Jenny Bro, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Stay safe. Thank you, Jenny. Same to you. David Johnson, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Melanie Samuels from the holy city of Brooklyn, New York. Good Shabbos to all. Oh, and there's Mom again. Shabbat Shalom to all from Rabbi's mom and somebody named Cliff. No, just kidding. Thanks, Mom, and thanks, Cliff. Everybody have a great Shabbat. Good Shabbos and Shabbat Shalom. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon.